Welcome back to Thai PBS World Talk. I'm Frank Kanshi. Thailand's main opposition party, Move Forward, is facing possible dissolution. The Election Commission has filed a petition to court since the party's MP intend to amend lèse majesté law. If it is disbanded, its executive members could be barred from the politics for 10 years. A group of ASEAN MPs call for monitoring the situation and taking preventive actions to discourage the disbandment. Joining me now is Chair of ASEAN Parliamentarians for Human Rights and Indonesian Member of Parliament, Ms. Mercy Christie Barends. Madam Barends, great to have you on the show. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm pleasure.
Yeah, I think the first question, of course, we have to cut to the point. Your organization has posted on a very, very strong message on social media earlier this month that the international community should monitor the possible dissolution. And of course, one MP in APHR also said Thailand's democracy is backsliding. So I just want to understand, why does this possible dissolution of Move Forward Party draw attention from APHR and other international communities, and why this case is significant for your organization?
Actually, for this patient, as a regional network of parliamentarians who work to advance human rights and democracy, we are deeply concerned with the trend of democratic decline in Southeast Asia, like in Thai and Philippines, in Myanmar, including in Indonesia, in my country, as well as across the globe. We see the possibility, the solutions of Move Forward Party as a worrying sign of this kind of democratic decline in Thailand. The second is the Move Forward Party won the largest number of votes in 2023 last year, Thai general elections. So dissolving the party merely because the campaign to reform a particular law in an effort to democratic and human rights principles on many levels. It is a violation of the party members' freedom of expressions. It would effectively disenfranchise the millions of Thai voters who voted for the Move Forward Party. Furthermore, it creates a chilling effect whereby other politicians or parties may be discouraged from amending controversial laws because they fear the threat of dissolution. So this is not a threat to Move Forward Party, but to the proper functioning of democracy in Thailand. And what happened in Thailand, it can give big impact in Asian country.
I think it's a very important point. And actually, on the strong message that you talk about on the social media post, I quote unquote, by preventing parliamentarians from deliberating on the law that is not in line with international human rights standards, the court undermines the very idea of democracy as it puts that specific law beyond the reach of any amendment. And actually, you talk about the chilling effect too, because if this party is dissolved, maybe other party could not really express what they think about in the parliament. So I just want to understand, for Thai parliamentarians, of course, deliberating on controversial laws such as the lèse majesté could carry certain implication over their political careers. So what is your interpretation in light of democratic values and international human rights standards in this case?
Actually, in democracy, in the atmosphere of democracy, parliamentarian and by extension the political party serve as an important check and balance to the executive. So if parliamentarians feel that certain laws are off limits and can never be examined or reformed, then their ability to act as a check and balance is severely compromised. When that happens, then democracy is at risk, totally. Because how can the public be sure that lawmakers act in the public interest if they are constantly at risk of their parties being dissolved? And I can say that what will be happen for Moving Forward Party is like what we call it, circle,
cycle.
yeah, that can be done by the other parties to make the solve of this party. The second one is, as I previously mentioned, effectively banning the discussions of a particular law is a clear violation of the right of freedom of expression, which is enshrined in the Universal Declarations of Human Rights, the International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights, as well as Thailand's own constitutions. So when we talk about the democratization, we talk about the human rights issues, we talk about the positioning of the civil rights in politics, how to get the better parliamentarians to product the better legislative product. For what? For a better life of human life in Thailand, for the welfare in Thailand, and especially for democratic itself. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, as what you said, I think the freedom of expression and the liberty to talk about, even just talk about the law, to deliberate the law,
That's
to
right.
give the expression, the law in parliament is very important for democracy. So I just want to understand, of course, I check the data of Indonesia
Yes.
law, of course. So in your constitutional law, you in your country has the right to disband a political party too, but this law has never been used. So just want to understand, should Move Forward Party be disbanded this time? And if it is so, would it change the way of the organization APHR perceive democratic values of Thailand?
Yeah, actually, we believe that equating proposal to refuse legislation or core functions of parliament with effort to overthrow the monarchy is preposterous and undermines the integrity of the parliamentary process. So this is also, unfortunately, not the first time a political party has been dissolved by the courts on dubious grounds. So the Future Forward Party, or become now the Move Forward Party's predecessor, was also dissolved by the Constitutional Court in 2020. For us as an ASEAN Parliamentarian member in ASEAN Parliamentarians of Human Rights, these cases are deeply troubling as they can potentially infringe on the right of every Thai citizen to participate in public affairs, both as voters and candidates. The Freedom House has also reported that Thailand's judicial independence tends to be politicized and practice and regularly interference in political affairs. We do not want this trend to continue. The judiciary must uphold the rule of law and democratic principles rather than impeding the democratic process. This is very important for us as Asian community, Asian parliamentarians, to uphold the democratic process, to become in the good principle, good practices, etc. The other one is, for example, in my own party, the Indonesian Democratic Party of Struggle, we born after the authoritarian regime in Indonesia, interfere with the internal workings of the original Indonesian Democratic Party, my party at the Suharto regime in the New Order era. So I'm quite familiar with these kinds of tactics. Nevertheless, we strongly hope that the Thai Constitutional Court will uphold the will of the Thai people and protect the integrity of Thailand's democratic process by rejecting this absurd petition. So, yeah, we do believe that when we talk about the truth in front of the court, so we do believe that the court can run and take the decision based on the human right issue, human right principle issue, better principles of political and democratic practices, and especially about the civilian rights in politics, how to protect that vote. Because we knew that the Moving Forward Party won the election. If they can dissolve the Moving Forward Party, it means they can do to another parties. So it's very volatile, it's very unstable if because of the political tension or another political interest, and they use the court mechanism to dissolve the other party that in the what we call it like a opposition party, something like that.
Yeah, I think the instability, of course, we caused the fallout politically and economically too. So it creates the instability in the country. So a follow-on question there, I just want to understand what's the fallout, given that, of course, if the biggest party, as what you said, the main opposition party and the biggest party in Thailand is dissolved at the end. What's the influence towards ASEAN countries? Because, of course, you said that Thailand's democracy right now is backsliding, and I just want to understand what's the influence, what's the significant fallout towards ASEAN country here in terms of democratic values?
First, we can say that what happened in Thai is like another story for backsliding of democracy in Asian regions. So we have to uphold together the same voice. We have to raise up the critical issue to uphold the democratic issues and political fairness in Asian regions. The second one, we have to work hand in hand about how to make what we call it the ecosystem of political and democratic practices in the good principles, how to protect the human rights principles, how to protect the civilian principles, how to protect the opposition. We call it the opposition parliamentarians, opposition party. The opposition means it's not means the envy in the political practices, but like a check and balance to make a better practices, to exercise how to take decision, like for to make regulations, to set up series of legislative process products, etc., budgeting, etc. So for this point, we do hope we calling for the leaders of Asian countries to sit together or to think more about the trajectory of the democracy and political atmosphere and practices in the future.
Yeah.
Because if we don't sit together, I can't imagine what will be happen in the future. Asian region will become the authoritarian political and democratic region. Would become like as I say,
I think it's pretty important.
Use the regulation and use the law to fulfill their passion and their desires of to strengthen and maintain their position and their power, something like that. And I think it's not good. It's not good principle for Asian in the future. The second one is related with the mandate of what we call it authority from people to select the leaders, because the voters it's come from the people. So how to protect the people rights and how to protect the parliamentarians at risk and how to protect all the atmosphere and all the ecosystem of democratic to become in a good manner and good principles. And the last one, we call it especially for the all the authority and Thai people to think more, not for us in this era, but about the next generation, because we will inheritance many values, principles for the next generation. So yeah, what happened in Thai, it will come like best practices for the other country to think more about how to shaping the democracy in Asian region. That's right.
I think as what you said, check and balance is very,
Yeah,
very
check and balance.
important.
Very important.
And our democratic values, of course, are for our next generation too, because it's not just for our generation.
That's right.
And
That's right.
according to you, of course, Thailand's issues of Move Forward Party in Thailand is not just a local issue, it's a regional issue too.
That's right.
That other countries are eyeing on this issue. So I just want to understand, of course, we talk about how the democratic values are important for us and for our next generation. But
That's
specifically, how can the mechanisms help to support human rights through parliamentary system in ASEAN? Is there any specific mechanism?
For the specific mechanism, yes. There are internal mechanism in respective Asian respective country. The other one is regional mechanism, Asian Charter. We can use the Asian Charter mechanism to talk about and to discuss, to erase the narrations of good democratic and good principle of political practices. The third one is international mechanism, how to use the international mechanism to get another global attentions to support democratic in Asian region, especially for the Thai. What will be happen for the Moving Forward Party? It means that it can impact any time for the other party in Thai, and it can break down the foundation of the democratization itself in Thai country. So that's why for international organization and foreign government should publicly condemn the dissolutions of political parties. Yes, they can do that because all the good products, good process of democracy and political practices, it can result many better result for the people, education, health issues, economic issue, especially for the political right itself. So specifically, we call on international human rights mechanisms such as the Special Rapporteur and the Human Rights Council to put more attention on this issue and condemn such practices. There needs to be a heightened concern over judicial impartiality and how it impacts the protections of political rights and democratic process. We must set and uphold the global standard. High-level diplomatic engagement can also underscore the importance of democratic principles and human rights. So when we talk about the international mechanism, we can get and engage many support from all global institutional, global agency to support the democratic in Asian country, especially in Thai. The second one is the Move Forward Party's case is unfortunately not an isolated incident, and neither are the challenges to democracy that Thailand is facing now. Yeah, this case is among the many examples that illustrates the state of democracy and human rights in Thailand. Not only parliamentarians are at risk, but Thai citizens who exercise their fundamental freedom are at risk as well. Activists in prison, for example. Last month, we saw Thai student activist Natiporn Sanesangkorn, who has pushed for reform in Thailand, along with thousands of other Thais, die in detention. So if democracy continue to decline, it will have damaging impact on the current government global reputation and ultimately affect its economy itself. We do not want Thailand to go towards that trajectory, and many other governments are adopting similar tactics with what we call it with illiberal across actor across the region, taking cues from each other and learning from each other's worst examples. This can quickly destabilize democratic governments in the region and around the world, running counter the international human rights standard we aspire to uphold. Yeah, this is my statement. This is my perspective, my insight to share in this session. So
I think
we can work together in Asian actors to uphold about the democracy itself in our country, especially for the country now facing the backsliding of democracy and best political practices as well.
International mechanism could work if, of course, as what you said, the high level, no matter it's democrat and of course diplomatic measures or governmental organization work together to uphold the democratic values. Last question, very quick. I just want to understand, have you ever talked to Move Forward? Have you ever talked to Pita Limtarungrat or other executive members on this issue, how to work together? Have you talked to them?
Yes. Actually, we met with some of the what we call it member of Moving Forward Party. What we call it member, in Indonesia and in another event or activity, and we talk much about this situation, and they raise many strong statements about the situation of Moving Forward Party, and they do hope that the other Asian actors can do something to support the democratic process to become better in Thailand, especially for what will be happen for Moving Forward Party. We do hope that it never happened. We do hope because when the court or the other upper level of government use the law international. We call it the court or mechanism to dissolve a party on behalf of their interest or their dislike or they are angry to the other opposition party. It means they murder the democracy itself. They murder the future of the next generation living under good principle of democratic and political practices as well. So we talk much about it.
Thank you for your time, of course, Madam Barents, because of course this is a very important case in Thailand, and we're gonna see next hearing on 3rd July, which is approaching, and we will see how the process goes and how the court deliberates about this case in the near future.
We can get the good news about the result of Constitution Court not to dissolve the Moving Forward Party at the time.
Thank you for your time. It's very important to have your message. Chair of ASEAN Parliamentarians for Human Rights and Indonesian Member of Parliament, Ms. Mercy Christie Barends. Thank you so much.